Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the biggest questions out there. How do you actually build wealth? But the answer we're going to uncover, well, it's a modern paradox, one that pretty much turns a lifetime of conventional wisdom on its head.
So let's just start with a question that gets right to the point. What if getting rich has absolutely nothing to do with your job? What if the one thing we all believe, that you need a good, high-paying career, is dangerously wrong? What if that's the very thing holding you back from real freedom?
Okay, so think about it. The script we're all given is simple, right? Go to school, get a good job, climb the ladder. What you're really doing is renting out your time for a salary. But here's the trap. Your time is finite. When you stop working, when you're sleeping or on vacation or hopefully one day retired, the money stops too. It's a path to an income, for sure, but it's almost never a path to true wealth. To really get why that is, you've got to understand that we're all playing one of two very, very different games in life. And you know what? Most people don't even realize they have a choice. First, we got to redefine wealth. It's not about the fancy car or the big house. That's not it. Real wealth is having assets that earn for you while you sleep. Think about it. A piece of software working for you at 3 a.m., or an article being read by thousands while you're at the beach. The real point of wealth isn't luxury, it's freedom. The freedom to wake up and say, what do I want to do today? And that brings us to the two games. The wealth game is what we call positive sum. If I create something cool, it doesn't stop you from creating something cool. In fact, we can work together and make the whole pie bigger for everyone. But then there's the other game, the status game. And that one is zero sum. And this is the ugly truth about the status game. It's all about hierarchy. For you to win, for you to climb a rung on the ladder, someone else has to lose. They have to be pushed down. It's why things like politics and even social media can feel so angry and competitive all the time. You're playing a game that by its very nature requires losers.
Okay, so if renting your time is a trap and the status game is a dead end, how do we actually play the wealth game? How do we crack the code? Well, let's start digging.
So you have to ask, right? If the path we're all taught is the wrong one, what on earth is the alternative? Well, there's a hidden connection here, a fundamental piece of the puzzle you have to break free.
And here it is. You have to own equity, a piece of a business. It could be stocks, it could be your own company, it could be intellectual property, but you need to own a piece of something. Equity is the vehicle that finally breaks the link between your time and your income. It allows your work to keep generating value long after you've clocked out.
But just owning equity isn't quite enough. You need something unique to build that equity on. And that brings us to the next clue, specific knowledge. Now, this isn't something you learn in a textbook. It's that weird, unique intersection of your natural talents and your genuine curiosity. It's the thing that feels like play to you, but looks like hard work to everybody else. This is how you find it. You escape the competition by just being authentic, by leaning into what makes you, you. Because here's the thing, no one can compete with you at being you. It sounds kind of simple, but it's a massive strategic advantage. All right, so we've got ownership and we've got our unique specific knowledge. But to really make an impact, we need a force multiplier. We need leverage. And luckily for us, we're living in an age of basically infinite leverage. So in the old days, leverage meant labor, having people work for you. Then it became capital, using money to make more money. But the new forms of leverage, they're the most powerful, most democratic tools ever invented, code and media. One line of code or one piece of content can work for you 24/7, reaching the entire globe for basically zero cost. And the most revolutionary thing about this new leverage, it's permissionless. You don't need a manager's okay to lead a team. You don't need to convince a banker to give you a loan. With a laptop and an internet connection, you can write code, create media, and build something for the whole world. You don't need anyone's permission anymore.
Okay, so let's recap the clues we've gathered. We've got the trap of renting our time, the two games of wealth and status, the need for equity, the power of our own specific knowledge, and this incredible magic of permissionless leverage. So now, let's put it all together. So here's the revelation, the formula. It all starts with your unique obsession, that specific knowledge that feels like play to you. You take that one-of-a-kind skill and you combine it with the most powerful force multipliers in human history, code and media. And what happens when you put those two things together?
You get the modern formula for wealth: productize yourself. You take the unique combination of skills and passions that is you and you scale it infinitely. True wealth today isn't about climbing someone else's ladder. It's about taking your own identity and stamping it out a million times. Now, this whole idea isn't just some theory. It's a totally different way of thinking. So what can we actually do with this? Let's break it down into a clear, actionable game plan. Here are 4 mental models that can completely change how you approach this. First, stop thinking about salary and start thinking about equity. Own a piece of whatever you're building. Second, escape competition through authenticity. Just be you, unapologetically. Third, learn to use permissionless leverage. Learn to write, create media, maybe even a little code. And finally, play long-term games with long-term people. All the big rewards in life, in wealth, in relationships, they all come from compound interest. And really, this quote sums up the entire new philosophy perfectly. Making money isn't about forcing yourself into a job you hate anymore. It's about finding that intersection of who you are, what you genuinely love to do, and what the world finds valuable, and then sharing that with everyone. So I'll leave you with this final thought. If this trend keeps going, if anyone with an internet connection can find their niche, build something unique, and reach a global audience, what does a career even mean anymore? How is our whole idea of work going to be completely transformed over the next decade? Let me know what you think below.